Don't miss the Green and Growing Show in the noon to 9 p.m. hours on Eagle TV. Ellis County Horticulture Agent Holly Dickman will identify common lawn and garden issues while providing up-to-date information. Watch weekdays in the noon to 9 p.m. hours on Channel 14 or 614. Green and Growing, brought to you by Riedel's Garden Center, a full-service garden center west of Hayes on Highway 40, and Eagle TV.
With our current weather conditions, it takes a real expert to create landscape that'll thrive. Riedel's Garden Center has the staff with the expertise of water requirements for plants, lawns, and landscapes that'll stand up to our changing weather conditions. With 25 years of hands-on experience, owner Darren Riedel will customize a landscape design and irrigation system to meet your expectations and our climate. It's recommended to protect your lawn using Fertilome products available at Riedel's Garden Center, an authorized dealer. Call or stop by Riedel's Garden Center today.
We love gardening around the area, and we love planting pumpkins and squash and things like that. But one thing that many gardeners absolutely hate is squash bugs. And unfortunately, that happens to be one of the worst pests of those types of plants. And so I wanted to talk just a little bit about squash bugs, how to treat for them if you find them, what to do if they've become too bad to treat. There's several different things to talk about, but you know, the biggest thing with squash bugs is you need to keep an eye on your garden plants. We have some zucchini and some squash, and there's pumpkins growing in the background. You need to be out there actually looking at the plants. It's really helpful if you can kind of, especially when you're searching for squash bugs, make sure you look at the undersides of the leaves. The first indication of squash bug problem will be some eggs that you find on the underside of the leaves. They're red in color and they're real small, but they're clustered together into this little bunch. And so that's an indication that something is possibly going to be going on soon. If you find some eggs, go ahead and just remove them. That's the easiest way to get rid of them. But if they are allowed to hatch, what will happen is you'll have these little soft-bodied, tiny gray insects that emerge, and that is those are the nymphs of the adults. So those are the insects that are going to be starting to feed on the plants, and that is also the time when they are easiest to kill if you wanted to use some sort of insecticide. So you really want to be on top of looking at your plants, look at the undersides of the leaves, make sure you're keeping an eye on things, just scouting for pests. If you find those soft-bodied gray-shaped or gray insects, that is, like I said, the easiest time to take care of them, and there's several different ways to do that. If you don't mind using insecticides, the product that is most recommended is called permethrin, and this is something that is a broad-use insecticide, so you need to be aware that that will also kill your pollinators, your bees, your butterflies, things like that. So you want to make sure and spray at the appropriate times, hopefully spraying in the evening after those flowers have closed or after the bees have left for the day. But you want to make sure and spray the undersides of the leaves as well as the top. If you don't like to use insecticides, that's fine too. There are some ways to try to control squash bugs without the use of pesticides. One is to put a flat piece of wood or an old shingle or something down at the base of the plant on the ground, and during the day a lot of times those squash bugs will congregate underneath that piece of wood or shingle or whatever you have laid down there, and you can pick it up and smash them, physically smash them. You can be out there scouting, and if there's just a few, you can pick them off by hand and squish them that way. I've also had a gardener tell me that they can use a shop vac and go out and actually vacuum some of those things up. However it is that you like to treat for those pests, it's going to be much easier to do it if you catch them in the first generation, which is what we're seeing right now. If you wait until the second generation, which is towards the very end of the growing season, by then it's very hard to get them under control, because usually that second generation is huge and there's so many of them that you just can't get on top of them. So earlier on in the garden season, make sure you're scouting your plants, look for those little soft-bodied insects, and try to treat them before they get into that larger, hard, shield-shaped insect. Once they get to that adult size, they're very, very difficult to control with any sort of insecticide. If you have questions about squash bugs or other pests in your garden, please contact your local K-State Research and Extension office. Reporting for K-State Research and Extension and Eagle TV, I'm Holly Dickman.
Don't miss the Green and Growing Show in the noon to 9 p.m. hours on Eagle TV. Ellis County Horticulture agent Holly Dickman will identify common lawn and garden issues while providing up-to-date information. Watch weekdays in the noon to 9 p.m. hours on Channel 14 or 614. Green and Growing, brought to you by Riedel's Garden Center, a full-service garden center west of Hayes on Highway 40, and Eagle TV.
With our current weather conditions, it takes a real expert to create landscape that'll thrive. Riedel's Garden Center has the staff with the expertise of water requirements for plants, lawns, and landscapes that'll stand up to our changing weather conditions. With 25 years of hands-on experience, owner Darren Riedel will customize a landscape design and irrigation system to meet your expectations and our climate. It's recommended to protect your lawn using Fertilome products available at Riedel's Garden Center, an authorized dealer. Call or stop by Riedel's Garden Center today.